Welcome to this roadmap video here at Truther.tv. We're going to break down some of the things that we have planned for the future and some big checkpoints that we're trying to hit. And so we can basically essentially divide this into about 3 to 4 categories. Okay, so the first one here is the website. The second one is the game, then the gram, which is in itself the social media thing is a game, but social media in the sense of, we'll get into that later. And then the last thing is what I like to call the Sigma grind set. And so to break down the website, we can break it into about 3 milestones, I would say, that would be very sufficient. If we can hit these 3 milestones, we're ready to develop a new roadmap, essentially. And so the first thing here is the Rabbit Hole app. Then we have monetization, and then we have the article system. Now, the Rabbit Hole app is it's like the bread and butter. It's the main attraction. It's really the thing that I want to build. But it is so complicated because whenever you're dealing with data structure, and then there is um, like you can come up with the design that's really nice for 1 or 2 articles, but then if you have 5, 10 articles, the management changes. If you have 100, 200 articles, right, certain data sets change their functionality as we add more volume and interactivity. So what basically happens is you develop an entire system, and then you have to start making modifications, and then eventually you hit a point where you have to go back to the beginning and start over again, because there needs to be a new level of hierarchical design, right? And so this is what happens when you're a solo bolo self-taught developer, and you're doing this massive project by yourself. But you know what? I'm not complaining. It's fun. It's actually interesting to try to plan. It's like, imagine trying to account for variables to things you don't even know can be potential problems. It's a very fun thing to be critical thinking about. Um, and so, yeah, if the app is working, that's a huge milestone. Now, the second thing is monetization. Um, it's not about the money, all right? But, it's kind of indicative about how official you are, is if you could actually accept credit card payments. I mean, anybody can make a website for free use. But once you involve credit card processing, there's actually a whole bunch of programming and all these other factors that get involved, and it's more about legitimacy, in my opinion. But also, I don't end to limit the app development features to just the rabbit hole. There's many, many more things that I have thought about making, to compete with certain things that are already in the marketplace. And I can't necessarily do that without monetization. So, right off the bat, it's really just it's just an indicator of you know position of the overall current roadmap, but it is going to be a huge, obviously, right? It's going to be a very important factor in fueling the further growth. And then the main thing here is the articles and videos and commentary and video library that's custom for my use, to show in some way the best way possible to get the message out to the viewers. And so I need to come up with a final system for sharing videos and articles. Now, this is actually probably the most important one because, you know, right now it's kind of hard to determine the functionality of the rabbit hole because there are no data points. And so I have to create 20, 30, 50 data points and then see how I will make them interact and then integrate them into the app. So, um, you know, all in all, I'm now actually almost close to finalizing this aspect of articles and video library concept. I have already prototyped this in the past with my previous iteration of the website in a quite sophisticated manner, if I do say so myself. But I'm going to revisit that one more time, and I'm going to do it better and, more and improved, right? Um, so that's that. Now, the second point, right? So we covered the website. We're going to talk about the game design aspect of things. And the best way to describe the game design aspect is it's top secret. That's your teaser, all right? Because I do have some some design elements that I think are basically world class, and some of the concepts, and it doesn't make sense to talk about something that I'm still figuring out how to design games. The closest I've gotten is to like moving a character around with some form of animation on like a map, and like kind of killing a couple monsters. Okay. So I literally need to really understand that concept, and map design, and physics and all that stuff. It's a lot of brushing up to do. And then I will, when I start, essentially when I have like Tutorial Island, I will discuss the design concepts and why I think my game is really good. Oh, by the way, the game itself is going to be an MMORPG, so I need to learn how to do servers, right? There's one thing where you're programming a game, then there's something different when you're doing server interaction because you have to sync up variables, and then you're syncing up variables to a game server. So there's actually like three very big, vast things that are really, really, really critical before you can even get a player to show up on a screen connected across the world, right? And so that is where we are with that. It's top secret. All right, that's all I can tell you for now. Maybe if you check back later, it'll change. Um, and then obviously we got the gram, right? That's the third thing here: website, game, and the gram. I want to make more edits. I want to make cooler videos. I want to use better fonts and styles, and I want to share with you guys actually, which is the fourth little topic here, which is called the Sigma grind set. Is I want to show you some of the homesteading stuff and other IRL progress. There's one thing to just be on the internet and to just be sounding the alarm and LARPing like a truther, and then there's something as to actually applying things in your life and actually not just enriching the lives of people on the internet, but also people in real life that they may not care for some of the stuff that's really important that they should know about. Well, how do you win them over? Is you have to love your neighbor as you would love yourself. And so you have to show people, provide for people, protect people, all of these things. And so that's part of the Sigma grind set there. So basically, in conclusion, we got websites and articles, we got the Rabbit Hole app, monetization, the game design, which is going to be an MMORPG. We've got social media, we've got YouTube, all these things. It's a lot. It's a lot, but I feel like one step at a time, and we'll make it there, and hopefully it comes out really well. If not, it's like it was worth the effort. No regrets, right? But I think it's one of those things that I've been too passionate about, and it used to eat me up for so much because I wanted more people to be enthusiastic about a really cool project. But I guess those days are gone with feudalism, where you have people who put trust in the outcome of a product, and it's like, oh, that person is X, Y, and Z characteristics, so it's worth committing to some of his plans. That world is gone, right? Everyone's fractured with their jobs and their bubbles and their individual belief systems, and the only thing people I think can seemingly unify nowadays is on meaningless consumerism. So it's like maybe these videos in itself will serve as a testament to what it is that I'm trying to build here. You know, I mean, only one way to find out, right, is to go ahead and do it. And Truther.tv. That's really it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.